everybody, I hope you're all doing well and welcome to my 5 a.m. summer morning routine. So I've just double checked and this is actually my 6th ever summer filming a morning routine video, so I feel like it's quite fun watching back at my old ones and seeing how things have changed. And this is actually my first ever summer morning routine video in my new cottage, which is really lovely. I did my winter one last winter but haven't even been in a year yet, but it definitely feels like home. So the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is drink a glass of water and then it's on to my skincare. This is something that I try and do every single morning. I feel like my skin is so much better after it, and also when I spend a lot of my time outside, especially with the horses, it's good to wear that SPF. Then once I've done that, I go downstairs and make myself a good old cup of tea. Of course, being a British girl, it's kind of part of our culture. So if you wonder how I like to have my tea, I have it with 1 sugar and some milk. On this particular day for my morning ride with the horses, I'm actually going to be taking Casper to the beach, so I had to make sure I was nice and fueled for that. I'm definitely one of those people that always have breakfast. I get way too hungry if I don't eat anything. So I feel like I also go through different phases of having like the same breakfast for a week and then I'll just switch it up. So recently I've really been enjoying having porridge for my breakfast or oatmeal, and then I just have that with some frozen berries as well. So once I've eaten, I head upstairs and get changed into my workout gear. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't do this every single morning because it is a lot of effort and a lot of work. I only live like 2.5 kilometers away from where the horses are or where I work. However, if I go through the woods, it's about 5k. So on this particular day, I did a 5k run.
Do it like that, kiss it like that, making it fast, fast, bring it right back, wear it like that, move it like that, like it like, do it like that, kiss it like that, making it fast, fast, bring it right back, wear it like that, move it like that, like it like that.
Once I head to the office, I then get changed out of my workout gear into my horsey clothes, because one of the reasons why I get up at 5 a.m. is to make sure that I get to these guys in time for their breakfast. And if you couldn't tell by Joey yawning, it still was pretty early in the morning by the time I got to the horses. Sometimes I drive, sometimes I cycle, but today I had enough time to go for a run, and I tell you what, after I've been for a run, I feel so energized. I just feel like, I know this is such a cliche thing to say, but it's just a nice way to start my day. Anyway, once I'm all changed and ready, I head down the stairs to the horses. Good morning! Breakfast time is probably one of the horses' favourite times of day, but they also really like dinner time as well, so maybe it's just whenever they get lots of nice food. But anyway, first off, I head to the horses and give them a cuddle in no particular order. Casper is always a little bit more grumpy. He's not as affectionate compared to the other horses. I think he takes a little while to defrost in the morning once he's woken up. Duke, on the other hand, though, loves a good cuddle, and he loves his bum being scratched as well. Very odd fact, but it's his favourite thing. I then also give Joey a bit of a head scratch as well, and he had a proper bed head this morning. I think he definitely made himself comfortable last night in all his shavings. Anyway, then it's time to head into the feed room, open up my metal feed bin and grab all of the feed buckets and make everybody their breakfast. So Joey has 3 scoops of Bailey's performance balancer because he's in quite high work, so he's ridden the most out of all of my horses, and the others are all on Bailey's low cal balancer because a lot of them they're good doers, you know, they put weight on quite easily. So anyway, then it's time to head into Joey's stable and give him his food. And if you couldn't tell already, yes, all of my horses are colour coordinated. They all have their own coloured buckets and stable toys and accessories and that kind of thing. So anyway, then I asked Casper to back up, and he had a big old poo stain on his head, so he also had a lot of fun in his stable last night. Don't know what they were getting up to. Mickey actually has Cushing's, so he has his Pergolide, which is his medication. He also has some digest aid to help prevent him being a little bit too wet behind, so that just helps him out a little bit. The poor old man. He's now, I want to say, 23? No, he's 24. Oh my goodness, Mickey, my boy. I've had him so long now. He is my childhood pony that's now retired. And then we have little Duke here, who is a rescue. He is from World Horse Welfare. I rehomed him from them, and he is only 3, so he's a baby. He's also very sweet. He does this thing where he kind of like moves his feed bucket around the stable, which is quite funny. But anyway, yeah, Duke is not ridden. He is only like 10 hands tall, so he is very small, very tiny. And he's just he's a friend, he's Mickey's companion. Anyway, then it's time to make the donkeys food, and because they're all getting quite old now, they all have not very good teeth, so they all have what I call their Bailey's Low-Cal Balancer slop, or slop for short, which, can't lie, looking at it, it does not look very appetizing. Willow also has 1 sachet of equipalazone, which is sort of like a horsey painkiller because of her arthritis. And then the donkey breakfast alarm system sounds. Toby always gets his breakfast first because he's the most dominant out of all of the donkeys. Then it's Bruno, and then last but not least, at the bottom of the pecking order, we have Willow. I always stand around when the donkeys are eating. Number 1, to make sure that Bruno doesn't choke, because he had choke last year really badly. Again, that's why they have their slop, because Bruno doesn't have many teeth left. And then also because Willow has her medicine, I need to make sure that none of the other donkeys eat that. I also use my shedding blade on them, because for some reason the donkeys always seem to lose their winter coats so late. Like, it's the middle of summer and they're still shedding. Anyway, I also put on their fly masks too, so the flies just don't go. They always like to go in their eyes. It's just not very nice, so that protects them. And also some fly spray too. I also gave Willow a little ear scratch because she's just so sweet. I've had the donkeys honestly like my whole life. I just cannot imagine life without them. So they also like to always gang up on me around the gate here because they are little escape artists. They will do whatever they can. They're always looking out for food, always looking out for treats. But once I've made sure I've left the donkeys and securely shut their gate, I take all of their buckets back up to the stables when it's time to get the horses ready for the day. So first off, I put on Joey's fly mask and lead him out to the field. Casper was staying in today because I was taking him to the beach. Also, Joey does this really weird thing where he loves to scratch his head against his haylage net, so there we go. Then it's time to get Mickey ready, so give him a little kiss on his snoot and then put on his fly mask as well. He hates having sun cream on, but because he's a Cremello, he has a pink nose. It's time to make sure he's protected against the sun. As you can see, he's not very impressed. He doesn't like it, but he's learnt to tolerate it over the years. So then it's time to put Mickey out into his paddock. I also tie up a haylage net for them because their field doesn't have too much grass. Mickey and Duke are both very prone to laminitis, which basically is something that horses can get when they have too much sort of sugary fresh grass, so their field is very barren. Duke again has another little bum scratch, his absolute highlight of his day, and then they are just sharing their haylage nets, which I always find so cute. Then it's time to put Casper in the wash bay and give him a good old groom. As you can see, he had a lot of fun in his stables, so was very, very dirty. Had to actually give him a bit of a sponge bath as well because he was just so filthy. Normally he doesn't have a bath every morning, but because he just wasn't looking his best, I thought, you know what, today Casper, I'll give you a little bit of a pamper session. Luckily, Casper absolutely loves being bathed. It's his favourite thing. I think he just finds it really relaxing. Sometimes I feel like he gets dirty on purpose. Anyway, then I grab my saddle and my bridle and all of my other bits and bobs and pop it into the back of the horse box because we're heading to the beach, as I said before. It's one of Casper's favourite places to go. Of course, I need to put on his travel boots to protect his legs on the journey, to make sure he's nice and comfortable. And then I just lead him up onto the horse box. He's always such a good loader, goes in first time. He always loves going places. He finds it so fun. And then we arrived at the beach. We were really lucky, of course, had to check the tides beforehand, but there's only like a few days of the year that you can really go to our local beach to ride a horse, and that's because normally there isn't enough sand. It's normally just pebbles, but when the sea is all the way out, there's a lovely sandy bit that we can ride on. So once we parked up, I just got Casper out of the horse box. He always likes to have a little explore, a little look around before he gets off the ramp, just to make sure he's somewhere safe. I then put on his saddle, get him all tacked up and ready to go. And then once he's all ready, it's then time to lead him down the beach. I just like to walk him on the pebbly bit, and then I get on once we're on the sand, and then we go on our lovely beach ride.
Walk Come walk with me, feel the breeze. Come walk with me. Oh, and dance, come dance with me. Shuffle your feet, come dance with me. And I will tell you when you're older how I loved you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came. When life, it gets you down, steals your crown and breaks your will, oh, I'll pick you up, brush off the dust and hold you still. I will tell you when you're older how I loved you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came.
So Casper and I had an absolutely incredible time at the beach. It's safe to say that he was pretty tired and pretty pooped by the end of it. So then I untacked him, got him in the horse box, and then when we got home I just popped him back in the wash bay for a little bit because we did do a lot of galloping, a lot of cantering. He did get quite sweaty, he did have a bit of a workout, so I just gave him a bit of a sponge off, especially kind of where the girth area is. That's where he often gets the most sweaty. And then it was time to put Casper out into the field with the other horses. I also then had all of the cleaning to do that I left this morning, so I got all of the feed buckets out and gave them a good wash out and a clean, because I always find it so gross when there's bits of like hard, like kind of salivary food left in the bottom of the buckets, especially when the donkeys have their slop. And that's just nasty if you don't clean it out. So give them a good clean out and a wash, especially if you have picky eaters like Willow. It can often, like, the food can taste a bit sour if there's any leftovers in there. Then it's time to grab my wheelbarrow and also my fork and give all of the stables a muck out. I also make sure that all of the horses have fresh water in their stables and also have haylage nets for the night as well. Then I give the yard a sweep, and that is pretty much my morning routine complete. Thank you so much everybody for watching today's video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!